Hey
guys!
Welcome back to our channel, and today's video is going to be our September wrap-up. We both can't believe that we're already in October. It is crazy.
The big 26 month.
Yeah, I turned 26 on Halloween, yay me. In September, I only read 4 books, and he only read 1. But it's been hard for him to read lately since he's been on day shift, and since he goes back to night shift tomorrow night, I feel like you'll be reading a lot more.
It shall be glorious.
So with that, we'll get started and talk about the books that we read.
Alright, so the first book, or the only book that I finished this month was The Cycle of Arwen's third book, The Black Star by Edward T. Robertson. Basically, it follows Dante Galland in saving Narstovik. And I know I butchered those names. You also get a perspective by a character that has been a major point in all 3 books. So that was really fun too. All in all, I gave the series a 5 stars. And I have to make sure my Goodreads says that, but I'm not sure. But I definitely enjoyed the reading. It was slow because of how big it is. It's an epic fantasy. So I highly recommend having another small book. If you have to take a break, you can jump in on that.
He's been trying to convince me to read that series, and I don't read Kindles. I like the physical copy, so if I ever decide to read that series, I'll probably order the physical copies from Amazon. The covers look pretty cool too.
Yeah.
The first book that I read in September is Fruits Basket by Natsuki Takaya. This is the collector's edition, the first collector's edition. If you don't know what Fruits Basket is about, our main female character is Toru, and after her mother died, she ends up living outside in a tent, and eventually she is found out about her living situation by one of her classmates, Yuki Soma, and she ends up living with him and later finds that they have a secret where he and other members of his family turn into the zodiac animals whenever they're hugged by the opposite sex. So every time Toru hugs Yuki or any other member of that clan, he ends up turning into that zodiac animal. And it's just really, I feel like a heartfelt story. It's also very funny. My favorite thing about this book is that Toru herself, she is just so positive. It doesn't matter how bad a situation is. She's always determined to look at the silver lining. She's always determined to help those that she loves. She is like someone that I would love to have as a friend. And I really love this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read in September is The Poppy War, written by R.F. Kuang, and I believe this is her debut novel, which, I mean, I couldn't tell. This was very well written, and this is an adult epic high fantasy. It follows our main character, Rin, who is basically an orphan when she wants to escape her foster parents. And she ends up testing into this really high prestigious military academy. She learns to be one of the soldiers, and there is magic involved and gods. What I found really interesting was that this really goes into the casualties of war. This was really hard to read at times, especially the more graphic content such as rape, torture, death. And Thomas noticed that I had to put the book down every now and then and take a break because there were parts where I started crying. So if you have a hard time reading about those kind of topics, I would kind of stay away from this. But it was just really great, morally great characters, which he absolutely loves, so he actually might end up picking this up. And the story of vengeance, and I just thought this was really good, and I gave this either 4 or 5 stars. I think I gave this 4 stars. The next book that I read in September is Trial by Fire, written by Josephine Angelini. He's laughing because I had some things to say about this book.
It was a struggle. Let's just go with that.
It was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. It was a struggle. And I had thought about DNFing. This is a YA fantasy. So basically, the gist of this book is our main character is Lily, and she's grown up with these horrible allergies that pretty much prevent her from enjoying life.
Gesundheit.
Oh, jeez. after a really embarrassing situation at a high school party that she was able to attend, she ends up being whisked away into an alternate universe where her allergies are actually her strength, and she ends up meeting her you're nuts. She ends up meeting the alternate version of herself, who is also going to be her enemy. And the concept is very interesting. The magic system is interesting. The magic is not what I've usually read before. It has more of a scientific background to it, which I thought was pretty cool, but at the same time, a little bit confusing.
Hey, you know what they say about magic and science, right?
What?
Magic is only what the science can't understand or can't figure out at this point.
Ah, never heard that. Another thing that was a little bit difficult for me to read was the love triangle, and you guys know how I feel about love triangles. I'm not a fan. It wasn't annoying per se, it was just the romance aspect was just really cringy. There were some eye roll moments there. I was very interested in the politics within this book. Yeah, I've gotten more interested in the political side of stories, as long as it's not our politics. Yeah, that's going on right now.
Interesting.
That's besides the point. Yeah, I really wanted to know what happened. I just found it just difficult to get through. I don't know. I'm still debating whether or not to read the second book, and I actually buddy read this with my friend Kara. I'll leave her channel link down below as well. She had similar feelings as me, and from what I understand, she's probably not going to continue on with the series. So I'm sure she'll share her thoughts with you guys about that too. So yeah, not much to say. I mean, it was an okay read for me. I might continue on with the series because I've been told that it does get better. So we'll see. I don't know.
Is that the author's first book?
I honestly don't know. I've never heard of this author. But yeah, this was a 3-star read for me. The final book that I read in September is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Yeah, this dust jacket's really shiny. Yeah. I read this for the Strange the Dreamer read-along that I co-hosted with 6 other amazing booktubers, which I will link their channels down below as well. And I was able to finish it just in time, and I tabbed a lot because I had a lot of feelings and thoughts as I read this book. I'm gonna put this book down because the glare is driving me nuts. Anyways, in Strange the Dreamer, we follow our main character, Laszlo. He is a librarian.
The thinker.
A dreamer, actually. Yeah,
okay.
He's a dreamer. And he has been obsessed with learning and finding more about this mythical lost city named Weep. And he dreams about seeing the city in person and discovering many of its mysteries. And I think that's all I can say about that book because a lot happens and it's just really hard to describe. It's very beautifully written. However, I am not very used to the poetic writing style. I'm not usually into that. It just takes me a lot longer to get through. It's just very descriptive and it is dreamlike and magical, but it was also very slow. And I just wanted things to just kind of start happening. I wanted things to get to the point. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. It did pick up in pace well over the halfway mark, I think, in my opinion. And the ending was just like, WTF, like why did that just happen? And I am definitely interested in reading the second book, but maybe not right now because I need a break. My brain needs a break. So yeah, very, very good read. I gave it 4 stars. Alright guys, and that is it. Please let us know down below what books you have read this month or last month, and if you read any of the books that we mentioned. Let us know your thoughts, whether you liked it or didn't like it, and maybe let us know what you're currently reading this month in October. Thanks guys!
Bye guys.
See you later.